Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the regular council meeting of Monday, June 17th at 4:30. And we have a few announcements, so let's start with you, Tom, on the parade.
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. July 1st, of course, in the Valley is big event, and one of the biggest events is the parade. And this year, the parade is going to be, the theme is Dinosaur Capital of the World. So we're honoring dinosaurs, of course, but also we're honoring the 100th anniversary of the Rotary. So they will be kind of at the forefront of the parade, and they have all sorts of stuff. The parade this year, again, starts at 10 o'clock, about 8th Street East, goes till whenever, ends at the 7-Eleven. So you can sit anywhere along there. We've noticed that there seems to be a lot of people sitting along 3rd Avenue and getting really bunched up. And the parade actually goes all the way to the 7-Eleven, and there's usually lots of seating down that way. We're also asking this year that we're going to be having all of the people that dressed up in their dinosaur costumes for the big dinosaur event to join in at the end of the parade and walk along the parade route. So we're expecting, 10,000 people dressed up in dinosaur costumes like we had at the event. And I think that will be quite fun. You don't have to walk the whole parade route. You can join in anywhere and walk for a couple of blocks. We're also asking again that anybody who wants to have a float, we need some more floats in the parade. And if you are handing out anything, then we make sure that all the kids and everybody stays off the road. So everybody stays off the road and nothing is thrown from any of the parade floats or anything. And it should be a great time again this year.
Thanks so much, Tom. Crystal, do you want to announce a bit about Canada Day?
Yeah, so events start at 7 a.m. with the Kingsman Pancake Breakfast, and then there's beef on the bun, smoking on the bun, Drumheller Dragons Beer Gardens. Then there's events throughout the day for kids, fireworks as well. And then opening remarks in O Canada are at 2 p.m. at the world's largest dinosaur with entertainment. And so, thanks to the Drumheller Recreation staff, they're the ones that take the lead on this major event in the Valley. So, thanks to them. And I believe all the information will be on our Facebook page, our website, and all that. So, for more details.
Thanks, Crystal. I'd also like to just thank everybody who has joined us with Coffee with Council over the past few months. We've had some really good feedback from those who attend. We will be taking the summer break, and then we'll come back in the fall and working with Erica, and we're going to try and come up with a few new ideas to get more people out to come and see us. So thank you to those who have joined us. Daryl, you have an introduction?
Actually, I have two. Just one is a quick one. It's a reintroduction. Erica Crocker has returned from maternity leave. Today's her first day back, so welcome back. Thank you very much. Made it through a whole day so far without crying. That's amazing. That's good. I'd like to introduce Jared Brownstein. Jared is our new infrastructure director. Jared started a week ago. He's come from a Soyuz, and we're looking for great things. I don't know if you want to say a couple of words or not.
Sure. Well, thank you very much for the introduction. Looking forward to working with council and yourself and looking towards your guys' strategic priorities. I have about 20 years of municipal experience behind me, mostly in operations. So I'm hoping to use some of that knowledge and capabilities to help advance your guys' wants and needs. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And finally, I would just like to remind everybody that we will have a special council meeting on June 27th at 1 p.m. to review and approve the 2023 audit report. So if you want, you can join us online or it will be recorded. All right, can I get any additions to the agenda, please? No, can I get a motion to adopt the agenda, please? Tony?
I move that council adopt the agenda for the June 17, 2024 regular council meeting as presented.
Seconder, Patrick, all in favor? Carried. Can I get a motion to adopt the June 3rd regular council meeting, please? Patrick?
I move the council approve the minutes of the June 3rd, 2024 regular meeting of council as presented.
Seconder, Stephanie? Comments? All in favor? Carried. And we welcome Dagan Blakely, our flood manager, our project manager online. And I will move on to 6.1.1, please, Dagan.
Thank you, Mayor Colberg. I have before council this evening a request for decision for a property in the community of Rosedale. This is with regards to some property or a portion of the property that we need to be able to construct the Rosedale berm. So it relates to 80 Railway Avenue. And that particular property is located in floodway at present. So without the berm, its development potential is quite limited. And it has a flood depth of nearly 1 meter on that property. And so the land that we're looking at acquiring here is key to protecting dozens of properties in Rosedale. We did begin discussions with this landowner in October of 2023, and they have been actively ongoing for the past number of months. We haven't been able to come to a resolution with the landowner. They haven't accepted our offer of fair market value as determined by appraisal for purchase of the property that we need for the berm. So given the timelines that we would like to start work on the berm in spring of 2025, we do need to start the first step of expropriation to acquire the property here. And so in terms of the financial impact, the land itself and legal fees are eligible for being covered by the Alberta government 18 GRSTR 41 grant funding. As well, we can use some of the federal DMAF funding to cover a portion of the costs if we need to there. Through expropriation, damages that are awarded due to the expropriation process will be considered on a case-by-case basis by the Alberta government. When we do move to acquisition by expropriation versus a negotiated agreement, it is a more costly process, both in terms of staff time and as well in terms of additional fees for legal team support and so on. So again, we do prefer to do a negotiated settlement where we can, but given where we're at with this property, we are moving to expropriation. And that once the notice of the intent to expropriate is registered with the Land Titles Office, we will notify the affected property owner and anyone with the registered intent in that property. And as well, we would advertise in the local newspaper.
Thanks, Dagan. Can I get a motion, please, Council? Lisa.
I move that council approve the resolution for expropriation and notice of intention to expropriate pertaining to a portion of land described as Lot 7, Plan 9911430, title number 171233365.
Seconder, please. Tom, comments? Lisa?
If I recall correctly, Dagan, this is one that there's been a lot of conversation about with the landowner, so it shouldn't come as much of a surprise, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's correct. We've had ongoing discussions, even as late last week. Our land agent was in discussion with him, so we're hoping that things will get resolved here in the next couple of weeks and we won't have to continue with the expropriation. But in the event that they don't, we do need to start the process.
Anybody else? All right, all in favor? Carried. Thanks, Dagan. Daryl, you want to go on to 6.2.1, please?
Yep. Thank you, Your Worship. So bylaw 1824, the Midland Vale Community Hall Road closure. So this is a request, really a joint request from the town and also the Midland Vale Community Association to close an undeveloped alley between the two streets that basically bisects the hockey rink, but also the community center itself. This is one of those Drumheller uniquenesses that where we've built stuff on top of roads and haven't actually ever resolved it. This, of course, this community center has been there for probably as old as everybody is in the room, and it was really, I guess, firmed up when we went through the process of the development and building permits for the new rink, that we said this should get closed at the same time. So what we're looking for, this is surprisingly one of the ones we've done that is not flood related. This is just a regular piece, but we're looking to be able to have this closed off so that it won't stop construction of the rink or any of the other improvements that Midland Vale's doing. This will run concurrently, but basically at the end of it all, the goal will be to have them own all of the land and not have 4 individual lots that their recreational features sit on. So what we're looking for is council giving first reading of the road closure bylaw 1824 and setting a public hearing for Monday, July 22nd.
Thanks, Daryl. Can I get a motion, please, council? Stephanie.
I move that council give first reading to Midland Vale Community Hall Road Closure Bylaw number 18.24 and set the public hearing date for July 22nd, 2024.
Seconder, please. Crystal. Comments? Tom. I know it's first reading, but I just want to make sure.
Yeah, no, just clarification. I thought this land was sold, but this part wasn't sold.
Correct. This has always been a road right of way. So, all road right of ways, remember for a town, or not remember, but just as a reminder for towns, all road right of ways are owned by the province of Alberta, which is why we're asking them to close this road right of way. So they absolutely were, Golden Hills School Division turned over the land that the rink sat on, minus this 20-foot wide strip that went down the middle of it. So, and if you look on the drawings, the area that's being closed is all the Midland Vale lands. So there shows a total of 10 lots in there, but that's really all the rink and the community center and the parking lot area. So the 3 parcels at the south end, the lane will remain open. There is a gas line that goes down the lane that basically services those 3 properties, plus the Midland Vale Community Hall. So.
All right, so yes, typically I don't ask for comments on the first one, but when, because of the fact that we're trying to get this to a public hearing, I wanted to make sure there was any concerns. So all in favor of first reading and public hearing date? Thank you. Okay, 6.2.2, please.
So this is the second reading of Safety Code Bylaw 15.24. So 2 weeks ago, this came to council, and Councillor Zarisky had brought up some comments from someone who was in the business that had done safety code work in Calgary. And so we took back those comments, and you can see on here that we did make a few changes that are we talked about the removal of the uniform in the quality management plan. So basically a wording change in there. We talked about that the safety codes officer be employed by either the town or an accredited agency that's contracted by the town. And that we removed the confusion around the provisions for a building permit so that we would have a requirement, all building undertakings shall require a building permit at the discretion of the safety codes officer. So the safety code officer can still say, no, you don't need one, you have a small building or something like that, but basically making it at that request of the safety codes officer. So that kind of lines up with some of the questions that the individual had posed to you, Councillor Zarisky. And a lot of the other ones that were identified in here were really things that were related to what we would advertise on our website. So who the total quality management plan holder is would be something you wouldn't put in a bylaw because, or a policy, because that can change, right? That person's name can change. So that goes on our website, and a number of the other items that were identified all would go on our website as part of the presentation of that bylaw, and more so on the development and building codes page of our website. So what we're looking for is to pass both second and third readings tonight if there are no other concerns around it. So I guess second reading first.
Can I get a motion, please? Tony.
I move that council give second reading to Safety Codes Bylaw number 15.24.
Seconder, please. Patrick. Comments? Crystal?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just funny. It's in regards to the 5.2. So that was part of that removal of that section saying that all building permits are required at the discretion of the development officer. But it doesn't really say that. It just says a building permit is required. 5.2.
Yep, I see that.
So does that piece need to be in there that you had described up above at discretion of the safety codes officer?
So you're right. Sorry, I'm going through this again. I thought that, I think that further on, so, yeah, I think that there are discretions in the, bylaw itself. I'm not sure where it is that actually says the safety code officer can override it. So we're basically saying that there is no exemptions to it under 5.2 at all. Yeah, that's a good comment.
Yeah, I couldn't find it, but
Okay,
maybe it is.
okay. I can take this back again. We had Connor actually go through this. I thought we had solved that issue. So, because you're right, that request for decision is contrary to what we're seeing here. So,
Okay, well then we will go through with the second reading with the amendment to that, and then we can bring third reading back.
yeah, yes.
Okay. So Tony, will you accept a friendly amendment?
I will.
Patrick, will you accept a friendly amendment?
I will.
All right. All in favor of this reading with the friendly amendment? Crystal? Okay. Oh, sorry. Carried. Thank you. And then we can bring third reading back. All right, let's move on to 6.3.1 and a briefing on the paid parking, please. And welcome, Trent.
Thank you, Your Worship. Everybody's favorite topic, paid parking. So with any program, we're going to expect that we're going to experience successes, but we're also going to encounter learning opportunities along the way, and we can leverage those to build a better program. In the first 48 days of the Hotspot paid parking program, we have found success, but we've also found ways to improve. I'll provide some statistics first, and then I will expand on the challenges. In May, the first month of the program, we took home $3,700.81. 2,007 people scanned the QR code for payment. Now, as you would expect, as summer heats up, revenue is also increasing. Thus far, in June, the program has brought in $4,928. In fact, just over this past weekend, in 2 days, the program brought in just over $1,100. So obviously a slower start to the beginning of the tourist season, but I'm happy to report that revenue is steadily increasing. Now I will reflect on some learning opportunities. We had a slower start in signing up residents for their paid parking exemptions, and as such, we needed to slow the enforcement process. We pivoted and took a strong educational approach to parking violations so as to allow ourselves time to catch the residents that were falling through the cracks and not signed up yet. We gave out educational flyers to parking violators, and with some strong administrative support at Town Hall, we are now confident that most residents have signed up. Knowing this, we now have begun the violation ticket process and are increasing enforcement efforts. Now, unfortunately, with so many residents, we still do have some that are getting through the cracks, but I'm happy to report that we are resolving those quickly. In fact, today I had a gentleman call up who had got a parking ticket at the Swinging Bridge, and in 5 minutes over the phone, we had his ticket taken away and him signed up in the system. And this is the approach we're going to continue to take with any resident who may happen to find a parking ticket on their windshield. Another issue that we've encountered is that tourists have indicated that signage may be lacking in some areas. We've reevaluated the signage situation, and I'm happy to report that we should have more up in the next 2 weeks. The last challenge is we still are encountering a few instances where people do not have the technology or the means to pay. We are evaluating these situations on a case-by-case basis, and we will explore the possibility of potentially installing mobile pay stations. However, that isn't going to be an option this year. While we have encountered some challenges, I'm happy to report that the program seems to be trending in a positive direction. We have an excellent young parking officer and a strong administrative support team, so I'm confident the best is yet to come for this program. Be happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Trent. Questions, anyone? Tom?
Good job. I know this has been a lot of work for a lot of people. And I know some residents have been a little bit disgruntled because of it. But once we see this revenue coming into the town's coffers, I think people will change their opinion a little bit. Because this revenue again is paying for a lot of the things that a lot of the tourists use that currently over the last number of years have been paid for by resident taxpayers. So that's the whole point of this thing is to get the visitors to basically pay for what the visitors are using. One thing I'd also like to mention is that we will be reviewing this whole process. What worked, what didn't work, what are we going to do with it in the fall, right? So keep track of all of these things that are working and all these things that are not working, because we want to, fine tune this again, and it'll probably be a little bit different for next year. So.
Thanks, Tom. Lisa?
Yeah, good job. I have one question that I've been asked a lot, and I just don't know the answer. So, after this season or term's over for parking, do people need to re-sign up for next year?
We hope that is not going to be the case. We believe that there's going to be a switch we can flip in the back end on the hotspot system and just extend everyone's permits.
Crystal?
Yeah, just a few comments. I actually got to deal with your young bylaw officer out at Suspension Bridge. I was out there one day, and so my vehicle was registered. My husband's, I thought I had entered everything, but it actually wasn't a permit, and so she was very helpful. And so I just want to let people know, and she actually helped some visitors as well to help with the app as well. So it was really good feedback to hear from her how the process. And then actually all I did was I called the hotspot, and same thing. It was like 30 seconds and they got his permit approved. It was just something I didn't do, I guess. And I thought I was pretty knowledgeable, but it seems to work. Like it's just a quick phone call. They were very helpful, and I'm sure your staff is too. So I appreciate all the hard work and the update, because that's what we were looking for, is to finally have some revenue coming in. So thank you.
Anybody else? Tony?
Yeah, thanks again to Trent and Greg and all the heavy lifting that's been done to roll this out. You mentioned the numbers, and the numbers are weak to start with, but have been trending stronger of late. And just a reminder that we knew that coming in, and it was intentional to do a soft launch in May and educate as we went along. The education's working. You guys are flexible with some of the parking tickets, and yes, there's going to be some stumbles, but overall, the objective here is to do a good job for everyone. So thanks again for your latitude.
Anyone else? Just awesome. Greg, Trent, everyone, I know this has been a tough road to haul, but you guys have kept persevering and kept on the track, and I think this is just going to end up being something that's just like I deal with the Banff, the mayors from Banff and Jasper, Sylvan and Canmore, and they've all had growing pains through their program as well. But at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is, as we have said, if we could find a way to get $1 out of every visitor, to help the people in this community that are paying for the roads and the sidewalks, and the garbage and the RCMP and the bylaw and everything else. And so the goal is to help our residents with this program. So I'm glad to hear that you guys are finding ways to help them. And as well, we hope we can continue to educate our residents that it is for them, that we're trying to, it's not to hinder them, it's to try and just help them, because any money we can gather to continue to improve our community, that's what it's all about. So thanks, and I appreciate the numbers. If you can keep them coming on a spreadsheet weekly, that would be amazing, so that we can constantly monitor. So thanks again. All right. Okay, we shall move on to 6.3.2 then, Greg.
Thank you, Your Worship. Council, be so kind as to review health and safety policy in preparation for our fall external audit, which is where another agency will come in and audit our health and safety program. In keeping with things current and with what's being told to us by the governing body, we're reviewing our health and safety policies to ensure we are compliant with federal and provincial rules. Currently, the Health and Safety Committee has reviewed and approved 6 of 8 new administrative policies. However, upon reviewing our Town of Drumheller Health and Safety Policy, it was identified that only 3 of the 4 required criteria are being met. We continually find that AMSA, which is the governing body, municipalities, for lack of a better term, take our cue from and operate under to provide a health and safety program that's accredited and in keeping with legislation and what's practical. Sometimes the rules change and we must adopt policies to keep up with the changes that AMSA has given to us. So to ensure compliance, our policy needs to identify that health and safety responsibilities are shared by managers, supervisors, and workers. And to that end, the new draft in front of you does cover that. We are recommending, if you'd be so kind, that council approve the revised health and safety policy as presented. I'm happy to answer any questions as well.
Motion, please, Council. Crystal.
I move that council adopt the health and safety policy HS-C-01.
Seconder, Lisa. Comments. Steph.
So it sounds like it's just housekeeping and keeping us up to date and in where we're supposed to be.
Yes, Ms. Price, we'll make changes from time to time and year to year and present them to the CAO for review, but we are bound by, not to be flip, but sometimes it's moving goalposts for us and we try to keep current with. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
Tom.
Maybe I don't remember, but have we not had reports in the past on health and safety kind of occurrences in the town amongst employees and public works? It seems to me we used to get a report from Kevin or Dave or whatever on, there were so many instances of accidents and that kind of stuff.
It was part of the quarterly reports we did a number of years ago, Councilor Zarisky. So, and I think we were asked to stop providing them, as it was information that most of council didn't feel they paid attention to or something.
Lisa.
So I'm just looking for clarification on the core audits. So is that the company that's doing this annually? Core?
No, we will be audited by another municipality.
Oh, interesting. So
I'm sorry. What does CORE stand for, Greg? Core. So sorry, CORE, C-O-R.
Yeah, C-O-R-E.
No. So
yeah.
There's C-Core and there's core.
So CORE isn't a company. CORE is actually it's for construction firms or that you go through a certification process. And so our municipality has done the same thing. We go through a certification process.
And that's annually, if I'm not mistaken.
Every
3?
Okay. 3 years, yeah.
We will be audited externally, Mrs. Zakarek, every 3 years by another municipality. This spring, 2 of our auditors went and did Wainwright, for example. But that's every 3 years an external audit. Every year we will we will have an internal audit or an external audit, but the external is every 3 years.
Okay, so if I'm understanding this correctly, you hit 3 of the 4 bars that they wanted you to hit on the audit, but still passed you even though you were insufficient?
There could be deficiencies, but you still receive a passing mark, and they will make recommendations. Anything the auditors come back with is reviewed with an AMSA authority before it's then passed back to the municipality as their final decision or recommendations.
Okay, thank you.
And I think sorry, just one thing, Lisa. So I think what Greg was saying is that for the audit this fall, we've said that there's something missing that we need to update the policy, which is what we're doing. So it's not something that has happened, it's something that we're trying to prevent from happening of getting 3 of the 4.
Proactive. I like it.
Anybody else? All right, all in favor? Carrie, thanks, Greg. All right, Rick, 6.4.1, please.
Mayor Colberg and council, thank you for having me tonight. We are here tonight to talk a little bit about the Drumheller Sports Council Task Force participants. We've had a total of 9 people that have offered their services to review the terms of reference for the Sports Council. And if you remember, it goes back to the actual Parks and Recreation Master Plan, that this was a recommendation that it was actually for 2 years down the road, but we fast forwarded because we see the need of having this council as soon as possible. So we are recommending the calls for expression with people such as Linda Tuquar, who's with the Alberta 55 Plus group, a really good cross section, by the way, I think, of people. Robert Visser, Drumheller Baseball Association, Christy Murphy, she organizes the Slow Pitch and president. Deborah Walker from the Curling Association as president. Rachel Gaff from the Adult Volleyball League representation. Ken Fournier, head coach of the Drumheller football team. Kreisman, Suchel, I think is her name, and I apologize, Drumheller football president and trainer. Melanie Hardy from the Canadian Badlands Aquatics Club, and she's a board member. And of course, Blair Christensen, who's the owner of the Junior A Dragons. So we are recommending that we ask these people to be part of the task force participants.
Thanks, Rick. Can I get a motion, please, council? Tom?
I move that council appoint the following individuals to the Drumheller Sports Council Task Force for the purpose of the development of the terms and reference and the establishment of the Sports Council for the duration of the Drumheller Sports Council Task Force or until December 31st, 2024. Linda Turquer, Robert Visser, Christy Murphy, Deborah Walker, Rachel Graff, Ken Fournier, Crimson Suzel, Melanie Hardy, and Blair Christensen.
Seconder, please. Lisa? Comments? Crystal?
First of all, I'm surprised that Tom's not on this for pickleball, but whatever. Anyway, I am a bit surprised that there wasn't anyone from hockey, minor hockey. Was there just no applications? So if someone did come forward, could they still be part, are we filled now for those applications?
Well, I think if anybody comes forward, we should welcome them, but that would be up to this council here. And I guess I would have to come back and just ask for permission for that person to be on. But yeah, I was surprised as well that unfortunately there was nobody from hockey. Just so you know that these applications were sent to all sports organizations, minor organizations, not for profit. And we had 9 people apply.
Thanks, sir.
Stephanie?
Looks like a great group of people. You see a lot of them out there involved in the community, see a lot of the posts about on Facebook and everything. So I'm really excited for this. Thanks, Rick.
Tom?
Yeah, so part of the mandate of this group will be hopefully to connect, contact some of the other organizations just to make sure that everybody's aware of everything that's going on and what the sports council will will eventually kind of be. So that'll be part of their mandate. I know people like Linda Traquair. I mean, she's got many contacts, many different sports because she does the plus 55, which includes pickleball, by the way.
Just a note about Linda, she was the first applicant. I mentioned it to her in the hallway at the BCF and she signed up right away. So she's something else.
Patrick?
No, thank you for doing this. And yeah, it's a great cross section of people. I'm just curious if you can describe a little bit of the process of moving from the terms of reference into the task force into becoming the council, and if even are we happy with some of these people if they would remain on for that, or?
To answer your second part of your question, absolutely. The whole idea behind it is to come up with that terms of reference. We're going to have an initial meeting. Then we will have a meeting for 6 hours on a day that's acceptable to everybody, really to talk about what are we trying to achieve, which is hopefully allowing people to come together for a common interest, which is not for their sport necessarily, but it's for the good of sports throughout Drumheller Valley. And I think that's very important. And I like the comment about other sports. I'm hoping that at least I will ask for people to reach out to those other sports governing bodies to say, okay, we're part of this. What would you like to see? Maybe there's not representation on the task force itself, but at least reaching out. And I think what we're going to end up having is, at least from the people that I've spoken to, is that they have a real sincere interest in sport in Drumheller. And it's not just about baseball. And Robert Visser, he really has a genuine interest in developing sport throughout the valley and seeing what's important, and coming together with a terms of reference that I think is going to be very positive at the end of December.
Anybody else? Yeah, I'm super excited to see this, Rick. I think it's something that this group together will eventually be able to help apply for grants and maybe, through the whole program, become an arm or their own organization to get onto the casinos and different things like that. Um, Sports tourism can be a great thing for our community. And then, we also know that we have a aging infrastructure through our arenas and our pools and stuff like that. That maybe this group can work together to help create a vision for the future. So I think this is a huge step in the right direction, and you have some incredible names on this list that really, and that's what I love about people like this is they get involved, they help, they don't just sit on the sidelines and say you should, they say we could. And so please tell them all personally that I'm grateful for their efforts and thank you for volunteering and being part of the community. All right, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Thanks, Rick. And by the way, thank you for all that. Pass that on between Jared's team and you about the beach and that all getting cleaned up, because that's just another check mark on the list of things that we're hoping to accomplish. So thank you, everyone. Okay, can I get a motion to go in closed session, please? Tony?
I'll move that council close the meeting to the public to discuss third-party agreements and strategic planning as per FOIP 16, disclosure harmful to business interests of a third party. FOIP 23, local public body confidence. FOIP 24, advice from officials. And FOIP 25, disclosure harmful to economic and other interests of a public body.
Seconder, please. Stephanie, all in favor? Carrie, thank you. And I just want to remind everybody again, we have a special meeting June 27th at 1 p.m. if you would like to attend. Otherwise, have a great Canada Day. Enjoy the Valley and everything it has to offer. And as I say, just like these people who volunteered for the Sports Council, you can get involved in our community. There's a ton of things to get involved to make it better. And with all our visitors coming, reminder to our litter warriors to keep going and keep our valley clean. Take care. Thank you.